Alright, so nagbabalik tayo sa ating violin tips and tricks. And for today's video, I want to talk about the proper way of facing or saan ba dapat tayo tumitingin. Where do we need to look when we are uh, looking at music sheets, music scores, reading notes, and all those things, no? Kasi I've seen a lot of beginners, especially because of how our setups are right now, di ba? Kasi nga, mostly online, maraming nag-aral, nag-lesson online, and due to the lack of, let's say, resources, kung wala ka masyadong gamit, let's say, wala ka namang ibang screen, only have a phone or something like that, nakakalimutan na natin kung paano talaga yung tamang pagtingin or how do you look at a certain piece, a certain score, and then play with it, no? Yeah. So ito yung pag-uusapan natin. Where do you need to look? Or how should you be looking at and playing at the same time if you're reading notes, okay? So I have in front of me a music stand. Ayan, medyo kita naman. But the main thing is how should you be setting up your music and how should you be playing your music if you are using a music stand. Ayan. So, nasanay kasi tayo na sa screen nakatingin, no? But what if wala ng screen? What if we have a music stand in front of us? How do we play like that, no? Kasi when you have the screen like this, for example, ito yung screen, yung camera. A lot of teachers want their students to look like this, no? Para mas kita nila. But the problem with this sitting position is that the score that the student is reading is right here, directly in front din sa screen. So that is the problem. So essentially, kung gusto mo ng effective na online setup, you would have to have your screen in front like this and your music sheets at the side para maganda yung itsura. No, pero dahil nga limited yung resources, limited yung mga gamit natin, we end up doing this instead. Nandito tayo nakatingin and nandito din yung music sa harap, which is totally fine. But the problem is mas pinaprioritize natin yung makita to. So what ends up happening is the student would look here and play right here. So there's what I call a disconnect in between your vision and the way you're playing. So medyo more on the feeling na lang, no? What we hear and what we feel. But we said that in order for you to be good at it, no, yung pagpa-practice, everything, you need to see, hear, and feel. Okay, so nawala agad yung isa. Because you're gonna focus on the score, but you're not gonna focus on your position, on how you look. Okay? So, it's important that you understand how to make it work, no? So, kahit siguro hindi na online setting or if you have a better camera setup. Pero, if you are going to be playing or practicing, no, whether seated or standing up, your score should always be in front of you, na in front na dito, diretso, no? And of course, your violin shouldn't actually be like this. Hindi dapat siya nakagilid. Okay? So when you are looking at a score right in front of you, and you don't need to be too close or too far, no? Just enough that you can see the music, and it should be low. No? Just a little bit, wag masyado mataas. And then, the next thing is that your scroll or the violin should be on the left-hand side of any of your music stand if you are directly in front of it. Of course, kung may katabi ka sa stand, di ba, sa orchestra, you would either be at the center if you are at the right side, and if you're on the left, of course, to the left of the music stand. So, you always want to put that violin to the left of your music stand. Bakit? So that, number one, it doesn't disrupt your reading. Whatever you're reading, hindi nakaharang yung scroll sa harap ng music mo. Diba? But, you can still see your hands perfectly well. No? Because you still have this field of view. Diba? Yung peripheral vision mo, kita mo pa rin yung kamay. So, whatever you're reading, no, whatever piece you're reading, you can still read it and still play. you can see exactly what's happening in your score, you can see exactly what's happening with your hands. Yun yung importante dun eh. What? For intonation purposes, di ba? Sabi nga natin, kailangan eksakto yung daliri saan siya nalalagay. And then also, you can still look at your bow while looking at the score. So, nababawasan yung disconnect. So, kaya nagiging, for a lack of better term is, nagiging disoriented yung mga nag-aaral ngayon. Kasi they feel like they're playing right here, kailangan tama sila sa camera, but their music sheet is right there then kasi they're only using one device, di ba? Yan. So, ganito sila mag-play. So, meron konting disconnect. Especially if you're new to it, di ba? It's hard to really coordinate your body as well as, professionals can do it, or even those seasoned na mga students can do it easily because they are already used to those movements. But as you are starting out, kailangan masanay ka muna ng ganito, ng tama, no? That you can see whatever's happening here and it directly translates what you're reading in front of you, no? That's why the score and your playing should be at the same, I call this line of sight, no? Kung saan ka nakatingin. But that line of sight should not interfere with your body's position. Ayan. No, kasi if you are right here, so your head should be looking this way, right? But what ends up happening is, nakaganon yung ulo natin. So, we're technically not in a good position to be playing. But if we have it here, and then our torso is a little bit rotated, so technically, andito na yung front natin. But we're still facing our score, our music. We're still facing our hands without disrupting our position. So, same pa rin yung nagiging position natin. It's just that we are rotated. So, whether I'm sitting down right now, no, or whether I'm standing up, it should never be different. No, parehas na parehas lang yun. The only difference is that my knees are bent when I'm sitting down. No? But feet on the ground, and if you're standing up, still feet on the floor, your knees are straight now. So, pero you still get the same amount of power, the same amount of energy that you need to get. Okay? So, try it out. If you have this habit of trying to look good on the camera, but you're sacrificing your playing. Kasi marami talagang magsasacrifice, especially if you are starting out. I had students na they didn't realize they were doing it. No? But when they started understanding na, isa lang yung titignan natin. Technically, you're just looking at the score while looking at your hands and fingers at the same time. Mas napapadali na. Mas madaling ma-check if you are playing with your bow straight. Straight pa ba yung bowing mo? If your fingers are moving fast enough, if your fingers, the distances between your fingers are good enough, mas madali mo siyang nakikita. Versus playing like this, wherein tutugtog mo na, and then check, tama pa ba? Tutugtog ulit, and then check. Diba? There's this movement, extra movement with your head. Diba? We've always been talking about keeping your neck relaxed and your head straight. So, if there's a lot of excessive movements, nakaka-disorient talaga yan. Diba? Even doing this multiple times, kahit gaano kabagal, kahit gaano kabilis, nakakahilo siya eh. So, it's not gonna help your cause. No? So, for beginners starting out, try your best to look at the camera at the same time, look at your scores properly. So, if this is gonna be your setup, kunwari, isa lang yung camera mo, I think it's better to just print out the score. And then, move the score to the side, to your left, a little bit. So, para kapag humarap ka sa teacher mo, kung nag-online lessons kayo, is you look, your angle is good for your bowing and everything else. And then, you can still look at your scores easily. Diba? Mas madali siyang gawin. Yan, mas madali mo siyang magagawa and mas madali mong makontrol kung ano yung yan. Now, if you have the luxury of having two screens, no, and being able to position them properly, then good for you. And we have to make things work. Diba? Yun yung mahalaga doon. So, kung may natutunan kayo dito sa video na to, please do drop a like, comment down below more content you'd like to see. If you have any questions and inquiries, we'll try to answer in a video. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on all my socials, links down in the description box below. You can also check out my course on Udemy, check out my podcast on Spotify and all major music platforms. And of course, check out my blogs, Usapang Musiko Vlogs. All the links you need down in the description box below. Again, this is Ryan Monakil for Violin Tips and Tricks, and I'll see you on the next video.